there will be a housing contractors and financial fair. Let me just pull this up real quick. So there will be a opportunity for housing contractors and financial fair. The goal is to have representatives from across those areas available to answer questions and prepare for the upcoming build season. We also plan to have representatives from the building and potentially planning departments. Some of the financial representation will be certified financial planners, CPAs, and potentially estate lawyers. More information will be upcoming. So just keep that on your radar. That's probably going to be an important thing that a lot of people are going to be interested in. The other thing that's going to be going on at the January meeting, we will be having elections for 3 steering committee positions that will be becoming vacant in January. So anybody who might be interested in running in the election to be a member on the steering committee, basically we meet typically, what is it, once a month now, or are we still every other week?
First and third.
First and third, what is it, Monday now? Yeah, Monday we usually meet for about 2 hours in the afternoon. And just discuss the direction that the steering committee wants to take the DFC, share a lot of information, talk about how we're going to get that information out to the public, and also we also discuss the use of our remaining funds and how we're going to spend that, the budget for the steering committee, etc. And does anybody know which positions are going to be coming open? Do we? Sure.
I'm stepping away as the treasurer. Jane Braxton Little is stepping away from communications, and we have a vacancy for a board member.
Can that be from any community?
I believe so.
Okay.
And I'm actually stepping in, my term for housing chair is over. And the secretary is what's vacant, right?
Yes.
Repeat that. So
I guess that does mean.
Oh, okay, now it's before.
Okay, so 4 positions available. It's secretary, treasurer, housing, and a general position that can be filled by any community member from the fire affected communities. Is there anything else anybody wants to add on those positions? Okay. So that's all I got for DFC updates, and I'll pass it back to Sherry for the treasurer's update.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. Thanks. Nice to see everybody here this morning on a rainy day. Not too much has happened with the account over the last month. The deposits remain the same. The income, we kept our treasury bill for another 6 months, but I haven't received any posting on any interest for the month of November. So I don't have anything to add for interest income. And next slide, please. The grants are the same, and continue on to the next slide. And that hasn't changed. We haven't paid out on any other grants. We haven't received any other grants. And our expenditures, these are the ones that we've had for quite a while. And in the next slide, we paid our brilliant and talented communications technician for the month of October. And then we also paid out to Select Environmental $30,000 for the cleanup on the historical buildings downtown. So that brings our total expenditures to $130,732.06. And our current balance is holding at $2,334,021.52. And as a result of the 2 payouts, The cleanup of the historical buildings, it was 150,000, and now we are still committed to 120,000. The communications technician, I think I made a mistake. It goes back up to $4,000. The steering committee decided to re-up for another 6 months with our communications technician, so that should read $4,000 there. And can you go back one, Taylor? Thanks. So our total commitments at this time is $875,150. And next slide, please. Our total expenditures did not change. Things just kind of moved around with that number between commitments and expenditures. And it's still holding at 52% of our money has been spent or committed. And now our funds available are $1,458,871.52. And I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving next week.
Thank you, Sharon. Okay, next up, we have some updates from PG&E, from PG&E's new community representative, Casey Holland.
Thank you for having me. On the X. All right, I'm on the X. Yeah, thank you for having me. And when I say new, I'm very new. I'm completing week 3 right now. So thank you for welcoming me. I've been a resident of Plumas County for 22 years, so I'm local. I've been in Indian Valley for the last 5 years. So I feel super excited to be here. I feel like I can be empathetic to everyone's needs. Hopefully best serving the community with what you guys have as far as outreach to PG&E. My title is outreach specialist. You can go to the next slide. I work underneath a really unique team. It's the community rebuild team. So it's a small team, kind of divide and conquer. I will serve the Dixie footprint. So I will be here. This will be my territory. Again, I live here, so I'm here on a daily basis. Some of the accomplishments we have wrapping up 2023. We will have 25 miles of underground electric that will be energized by the end of the year. They're doing about 20 miles territory wide. A week through the end of the year, still energizing, but specific to the Dixie area, 2.8 miles of overhead electric hardening, and then 40 services in mostly the Greenville area that have been energized. Just recently, we energized the Indian Falls Moccasin area last week, actually. So that was a success. As far as wrapping things up for 2023, we should be relatively out of the Wolf Creek Yard, Greenville Wolf Creek Yard, probably end of November is kind of the goal. So it should be quieting down in that neighborhood, less traffic, etc. The crews are working through the end of November and then things will be quiet. There still will be people in and out, but minimal basis. Go ahead, next slide. What you have coming up for next year is going to be about 3 miles of underground in the town of Greenville. We've kind of broke Greenville into zones. The zones for next year are going to be the Forgay Avenue area, Hot Springs Road, Alta Camp, and Hideaway. I can't tell you specifically when they're going to start in each area, but that's where you're going to see the most activities. Again, substantial amount of it will be contractors. You'll see PG&E as well, but it'll be broke down between the two. So yes, we will be here. Go ahead, thank you. Probably mid-spring when temperatures allow, you're going to see some patch paving or some overlay work. It's going to help benefit you on the ride down from Canyon Dam to Greenville. So they're going to overlay those patched areas where you've seen that they worked this season, making it better for next season. Can't start that work till temperatures allow though, so I'll have to keep you posted on those dates. And then for next year, it's going to be less activity in the direct Greenville area, but you will see quite a bit of activity down Highway 70. 3 phases, 3 little projects that will be going. One they call Gansner. It's going to be near the Paxton area. The second will be the Grace Flat project, which will be near the Twain area. And then it's kind of going to be continuing from the Bucks Creek area, which is a longer stretch. It's a 20-mile stretch. So you'll see activity down there throughout next year. And they're actually still working in that area as we speak. It won't be energized probably until the first part of the year, but some of that activity you see down by Bucks Creek is still ongoing right now. But that's where most of our presence will be for 2024. Go ahead. I know you guys, and maybe some of you have met, we have a local rep that's part of our rebuild team, Matt, great guy, here to help on a daily basis, truthfully, for as far as restoring services. I've left some brochures up front. I know we're coming into winter, so things, Mother Nature's in control a bit of where we go with that, but again, reach out to me. I'm happy to get in touch with Matt. But we really want to provide you kind of a white glove service as far as restoring services, whether that be temporary or permanent, as your needs, arise. So get your application in. It does take a little work with the county, a little work with PG&E. So if we can expedite that, hopefully help make that process smoother for you. That is still our goal. And next slide. These are just some resources, a direct number and email address. If you have questions, you want specifically to the rebuild of our area, welcome to utilize that. And then on the final slide, I'll share my phone number. Again, I'm here right down the road. Welcome to text me, call me, reach out. I'm happy to answer concerns, questions. If it's me finding additional information for you, that's what I'm here to do. And help you out. I do not have the answer, but I assure you I'll do my best to obtain it for you as quickly as I can. So again, thank you for having me. I don't have a lot this time, but as we get closer to the construction season starting, I'll have more information to share. Again, the outreach will continue. We'll notify neighborhoods, areas, etc. If we're going to be in your area, none of that's going to change into this year. So that's our goal, to keep everybody advised of when we're going to show up. So yeah, thank you for having me. Any questions? I'm going to stick around as well, so I'm happy to answer direct questions afterwards. Yeah, for sure.
Thanks for that update, Casey. Next up, we have Joe Hoffman from the Forest Service. Is going to talk about the North Fork Forest Recovery Project.
Hey, good morning. I got just 2 slides. I want to do an update. I've been here a few times talking about the project on the Forest Service land. Here it is, the same old map. This is all Forest Service land. It's 167,000 acres. And the next slide, we'll get into the kind of treatments, but I've talked about those quite a bit in the past, and it's kind of what you would expect. I guess one thing to point out is there's unburned land within this 167,000 acres. So that's kind of how our treatments differ in that, some of it will be like trying to do the community protection work around where they haven't had impacts due to fire. But also in the areas, that's in the areas where there has been fire, that's probably more apparent, what the typical treatments in there are, just to get rid of the burned material, try to reforest where we want to prioritize our reforestation. There's some trails work in there, etc. But I'll get to the next slide in a second. Hang on, Taylor. I wanted to just give an update on where we are in the NEPA process. So some of you are familiar with that term. That's the National Environmental Policy Act. So we put out, first step there is a description. It was probably 20-some pages or whatever with some maps describing our proposed action. That's what we call it in NEPA. And it, describes those activities that we have working with Sierra Institute, who is our partner. They're helping facilitate a lot of these discussions, helping us with the planning, and then the Forest Service reviews everything. So that proposed action, some of you read it. It describes the activities that we plan to do within that area. And then it provides a 30-day comment period for people to, submit their comments. And there's some technical legal kind of stuff for like down the road, whether you have standing to object, whether you commented or whatever. But mostly we just want to hear, take a look at what we have planned. What are your comments on it? So I'll go over some of the comments in a second. But the next step then, so that comment period, the 30-day comment period, closed November 6th. And so we're 12 days, 13 days after that. The Sierra Institute and the Forest Service team, we met and kind of went over the comments we received and see are there things we need to adjust in the proposed action? Some of them are just really useful comments for, pointing us to specific areas that need treatment or need to be prioritized, and that's really helpful. So we reviewed some of the we reviewed all the comments. I think we received, I wouldn't say 20, but more than 15, I think, somewhere in that area. And so then the next step is we'll be refining our proposed action. And then we'll be putting out, well, Sierra Institute is going to begin drafting the environmental assessment, or EA. So that describes the environmental and human effects of that activity. And then we have to demonstrate in that assessment that we're complying with our laws and our regulation and policy for this kind of work. So they'll be working on that this winter, and then hopefully that'll get out probably, I would say, February, maybe January, and there will be another 30-day comment period for people to look at it and say, like, for example, there's quite a few concerns raised at our public meetings, and then also in the comments we've received about herbicide use. And so we'll be describing, what we expect the effects to be of the certain chemicals that we might use for these treatments. So that would be in that environmental assessment. That would give people a chance to review that and make comments like, does it make sense? Or you're missing something, you're overlooking something, etc. So that'll be the 30-day comment period on the draft environmental assessment. And that'll kind of tee us up. I won't go through all the other steps, but hopefully tee us up to have a decision sometime in the spring of next year so that we can start at least on a portion of the project next year. Go ahead, Taylor, thanks. I just wanted to show again the purpose and need, forest and watershed health and resilience. Again, pretty typical stuff, what we normally do. We've done a lot of this work over many, many years. But the emphasis here is on restoration. So restoring resilient forests. We always trying to take care of native plants and manage invasives, the potential for that. Recreation is an important part of recovery because it's important to communities. And so there are some trails that we proposed, new trails near the communities, near Greenville and also near Taylorsville. And some people had looked at those and gave us some comments on that. Roads are, of course, critical to all this work, and we need to maintain them to protect water quality. And then community protection and, so again, reduce wildfire threats around communities. The areas that haven't suffered wildfire near communities, the green areas, we'd say, we do the thinning type treatments, fuels reduction treatments. And then for areas that have been, suffered fire, like right here near town, around Indian Falls, that would be, again, removing the burden material and trying to get some reforestation going there, because in the long term, getting the forest back is going to be more resilient in terms of, protecting communities. And public safety, cultural resources, huge economic opportunities in investing in partners. Yeah, I think I'll leave it at that. I won't try to give an overview of the comments we received. Yeah, I feel like I've talked enough, so I think I'll leave it at that. And if people have specific comments on questions, they can bring them up afterwards. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Next up, we have Daryl Webster from Lewis County Fire Safe Council.
Thank you. I'm Daryl Webster. I'm a project manager for the Fire Safe Council. Today I've prepared a video that was prepared to us by Bill Jacks with Tierra Fuego and Plymouth Underberg Commission, and we'll start with that.
The original people of this land used frequent fire for time immemorial. These stewardship practices shaped the forest of the past to benefit all life. Today, we can use fire in a similar fashion to reestablish resilient, sustainable forests and reduce the threat of devastating fires.
150 years of fire suppression and fire exclusion has produced enormous accumulation of burnable material and an unnatural concentration of trees in the forest. Together with climate change, this is causing catastrophic fires.
When we prescribe fire close to the community, we provide the most vulnerable areas the greatest resiliency. The Quincy High School pile burn is an example of the stewardship process that communities and forests depend on.
Today's it's a pretty special day because there's been about a 40-year burn ban in the town of Quincy, in the area of Quincy.
This project here behind the Quincy High School is such an inspiration to me because I see this as a victory of love over fear. You know, bringing fire near the community that's been in this area so devastated by the Dixie fire last year in Greenville is very scary. A lot of people are afraid. And I think we all know that more of that tragedy is likely to be coming our way if we don't do something.
I think we need to reach to every pool of everyone who wants to help. And it doesn't matter where we're coming from. We all come together knowing that we need to protect our community. We need to protect the forest. And in that, and when we protect the forest, we're protecting the wildlife, we're protecting our water sources. We're doing everything we need to thrive in our environment today.
The only way I think, and others think who've lived this around here with the huge wildfires, is that we have to work together with the agencies, with private property owners, and public property owners to help reduce the fuels in the area.
I think this project's very important for the community of Quincy. I mean, not just to protect them from fire, which is inevitable in all these mountain communities, but to raise awareness.
For us as mountain-minded people to be part of underburning, pile burning, getting a sense of well-being and how we live among this environment with fire that needs to be done. That's just what I feel very good about. And I know that my ancestors are very happy that we still have people that are interested in doing what's right for the environment and the land.
Hey, well, thank you for being here.
So for our operation today, we're doing a pile burn, which means that we have prepared piles from thin material in this unit that has been put into these piles, and then a line of bare mineral soil cut around it.
Oh yeah, this one's gonna burn good.
So here you can see one of my friends, Dave Kinnitator, is extinguishing the pile here so that there's no heat left by the time nighttime arrives and the air mass starts to settle down into the valley. That way we don't have our smoke impacting the valley negatively. Our hope is that this project helps educate the public and gain support for more of this kind of work around our community.
So like Bill was saying, fire is a necessary part of this landscape. And the Fire Safe Council feels that way enough that we're here to provide you with some assistance programs to help with that. Some of the things that we have is home hardening. We have folks that will come out to your property and they will discuss with you some things that you can do to your home to help harden your home to fire. Your roof is a huge thing. If you have a metal roof, that really helps. Don't store combustible materials such as firewood, lumber underneath your deck. I know it's convenient at times because it's right there, but creates a hazard. Install weather stripping around the garage doors, so if a fire comes through, there's no way that the embers can suck into your house. That also goes for metal spacers, up in the rafters and in the soffits, any more vents. Close those by getting like 1/4-inch screens as opposed to, 1/8-inch screens as opposed to our 1/4-inch screens that we have. Next slide. Another program that we offer is PUC. This is the Plymouth Underburn Commission. It is community members helping each other burn their land to help harden their land to fire. The citizens will come in and they'll volunteer. It could be your neighbors, could be people you don't know. And they'll come in, they'll assess your land. And then they will eventually burn your land off and create a defensible space. I've seen it. We were out there on Chandler Road a couple weeks ago. We did an underburn on a gentleman's property, and only after a couple weeks, it looks like a park. It's beautiful. Makes your land look really, really nice. We also offer other programs. The community chipping program, if you have piles that you have collected on your land, if you make them accessible to us by somewhere we can get to them with our chipper, you sign up, we'll come out and we'll chip those piles for you. We also have the Senior Defensible Space Program, where one of my coworkers will come out. They will assess your land and they will help you get a defensible space from 0 to 100 feet off of your house. You obviously need to be qualified for that and be a senior citizen. We also have a hazardous fuels reduction program where we will, if you qualify, we will come in, we will help thin your land. And this program also does public lands as well. We work with the Forest Service and we do fuels mitigation throughout the county. We also do the Firewise communities. We bring those people together and we start Firewise communities, and we help you work with your neighbors to be more aware of what you can do as a community to help you mitigate the fire danger. One of the things with that is we have a tool trailer that you can use, and you get the tool trailer and any tools that you need, such as pole saws, chainsaws, rakes, axes. That's all in the shed. You can bring that to your property, use our tools, and we'll come grab that from you. We also have the no cost business. I think I might have touched on that. I can't emphasize enough. That is an awesome program. It is so educational. My coworker Liam runs that, and he is super knowledgeable about different things that you can do on your property to help mitigate fire danger. That's what I have for you today. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Daryl, for that overview. Next up, we have LMNOP. Here's Tyler Q.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming out in rainy weather. I want to just do a couple of reports. So the Elemental Peace Summer Internship, I've mentioned this before. Most of you have participated in some capacity with it. Last month, we had the draft report. We finalized that. We have a physical copy that you could check out here. And it will also be in the Dixie Fire Collaborative office. It will also be on the Dixie Fire Collaborative website. So check it out, see the incredible work that interns have done. Next slide. That culminated with the Town Center Guidebook, which is also here. That resource will be available throughout a couple places throughout town, mainly the Dixie Fire Collaborative office. Pop into there. You can read all these, take some time to absorb. There's a lot of information in there. We want to make it readily available to everyone in the community. Next slide. That also has the Canyon Dam summary report. So as you can see, there's a ton of work that happened over this summer, and we wanted to make sure that all of it was packaged and available to the community members and readily accessible. So check out the DFC website. Probably will be up there in a couple weeks. That's basically it. Physical copy will be at the Dixie Fire Collaborative office. If you want to reach out to me, I'd be happy to email you links of the PDF and things like that. So yeah, really incredible work. And that starts to, so what does that mean? Great, we did the work, a lot of planning. What we're starting to get into is actually projects. This is where it gets really exciting. An example is there was an interest in a downtown park. So working with the National Park Services to actually work on this project. So we're actually getting into the specific projects that get specific plans that get the project built. That's what everyone's interested in. So we're getting there. That's basically what I'd like to say. With that, there's a ton of information in those guidebooks. If you have any questions, please reach out to me, or my team will basically help fill in the details for you. Next slide. So switching gears completely, my brain is segmented in a lot of ways. For the last year and a half, we've been working with the Almanor Foundation to create a strategic housing plan. What does that mean? Before the fire, affordable housing, which that word is a little bit misunderstood sometimes, or understood in different ways. Affordable housing from a language standpoint typically means government, nonprofit, or philanthropic supported subsidized housing. What sometimes people understand is the language of attainable housing. Attainable housing means that it's in the cost point, like it's in the price point where the renter can afford to do it, and that may be subsidized or it may not be subsidized. So when we talk about affordable housing, I'm actually really talking about attainable housing. What that means is that it's housing that our local community members can afford to rent and to buy. What does that really mean? Before the fire, Plymouth County had a housing crisis, and the state of California has a housing crisis. I think everyone acknowledges and sees and understands this based on the cost of construction and the cost it takes to buy those houses. The economics are kind of upside down. In Greenville, the median income was around $30,000 a year. What that means is to make it attainable, affordable, meaning that they can afford it, but meaning that it wasn't government subsidized. That means that rent needs to be at around $700, $750 a month. That's the max. Before the fire, we realized we had a housing crisis. With Greenville burning down, it actually held the vast majority of what our attainable housing was, meaning non-government subsidized housing stock that was at that $700 to $900 a month rent. It held that. When Greenville burnt down, all of a sudden, our businesses across the entire county and region are suffering because there's not that affordable, attainable housing for the workforce. Meaning those are the individuals that are working at the mills, they're working at holiday market, they're working at grocery store, cafes, coffee shops, things like that. It's just become so expensive to actually afford a house in this region. And you see this in most every fire. You see it in Paradise, that there's a massive divide, but you see it even more so because of our economic climate with interest rates, inflation, things like that. So giant problem. I think we all can agree on that, with many different factors to it. We were contracted with the Almanor Foundation to look at that problem and figure out how could we actually create this housing stock. And what we created was a 3-pillar strategic plan that addressed the level of diversity of housing stock that we needed. Meaning we need everything from like a glamping RV site for our international college students that go and work at Red Onion or some of the hospitality up in the Almanor Basin, to full-time single-family residences. We also need duplexes, triplexes, things like that, that are affordable for the cost of construction, and then affordable for those that are renting or looking to purchase it. Very complex problem. We created a 3-pillar kind of strategy to work against that. And then we've been contracted with the Almanor Foundation to work actually against that over the next 18 months. What I mean by the Almanor Basin is not just Lake Almanor or Chester or things like that. What I'm actually referring to is Indian Valley and the Almanor Basin. It's what we've defined as a 3-mile radius around Lake Almanor and Indian Valley. Why is that important? I go back to when Greenville burned, is having really catastrophic negative effects across the county, rippling effects that are happening and will continue to happen. So we have a community up there that was not destroyed, that realizes the impact that a destroyed community had on them and wants to build a reciprocal relationship, that we need each other at the end of the day. Almanor Basin needs Indian Valley needs recreation and tourism at the Almanor Basin. Like, it's a reciprocal relationship that we need to create. And I would say that this goes across the county, but we're really focused on Almanor Basin and Indian Valley to start with, because there's a lot of cultural hurdles that we have in unifying the whole county right now. So let's focus on this to start with, but let's all acknowledge we need us all to be successful. So all that's to say is myself and the team, Ben Hoffman and Suvan here, are here. We're gonna hang out afterwards, after the meeting, and we invite you to come and check out like what we produced today and to start to engage in what we're doing as workshops. So we did one on Thursday night in Chester. We had about 11 participants. We did one last night in Indian Valley with, I don't even know how many, 14 or so, 15, something like that. Anyways, we had a good group. Some of the people are in this room right now. And we want to continue doing that, having these kind of small group conversations around this idea of how do we as a community collaborate together? What are the resources we have? Volunteerism, materials, and also financial capital. How can we pull those resources to build the housing stock that we need? In a lot of ways, this is how is the community creating this together. So we invite you to hear. If you don't have the time and you need to run off or totally understand, sign up with us. We'll email you and invite you to a workshop. Those workshops are going to be, they're 2 hours long. We gather a lot of information, we impart information, and they're going to be on Zoom and in person as well moving forward. So trying to connect with everyone. So greatly appreciate the time. Please come check it out. Yeah, looking at building some workforce affordable housing. Thanks all.
Thanks, Tyler. Okay, next up, we have Indian Valley Innovation Hub, Laura Wheeler.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm really happy to be here today because today there is so much emphasis on business recovery and economic recovery. I signed up to provide information about the business resource directory for business owners in the burn scar area. And it made sense to contact other organizations that had resources to offer. So I contacted Indian Valley Chamber of Commerce and RCAC, and who else do we have here? The Dixie Fire Canopy Project, the Spot, several organizations around Plumas County too, just to come talk about what they're offering to business owners. We've had more of an emphasis on the individual recovery or prevention of fires, which is really important, but we really need to be putting information out there to the business owners. So they know what help is out there so they can recover. Okay, so the Plumas Business Directory is a little bit different. That's another Indy Valley Innovation Hub initiative. And imagine the yellow pages on steroids. That's the Plumas Business Directory. So we're gathering information about every business in Plumas County, and we're putting it into categories, and we're going to create a phone app so you know what businesses exist here and what they have to offer. What we're trying to do is get away from having to ask word of mouth about whether or not there's a plumber in town, and put that information out there so it's clear to everyone. We know we don't have to go outside the county. We don't have to go to Reno or Chico for certain services or products. Let's see here. So another thing that this is going to counteract is there's a lot of business owners that don't have an online presence and they just get business word of mouth. Maybe they're not someone that's technologically inclined. Maybe they don't have a tech person. So we are going to find information about those businesses and put it out there so that your consumers can reach them. The business directory is going to work in tandem with the popular search engines that you might use to search for products or services right now. But you're going to be seeing more Plumas-based businesses at the top of your search. And this is just how we're going to put Plumas businesses first. It's one of the ways. Next slide. Real quick, if you haven't been to our website and seen the workshops and webinars for business development, that would be a good thing to do. We're plugging in webinars from all over Northern California. I need to update it right now. We're a little understaffed for the next 2 weeks till we get someone new coming on to help with that. But we plug in workshops and webinars from Sierra Business Council, from Chico Start. We plug in our entrepreneur rallies where we talk about our long-term wildfire recovery projects. And everything I've seen so far is free. So lots of educational resources. Next slide. And here's a little more about the Plumas Business Resource Directory. Phase 1 to that is building a dedicated resource directory for wildfire impacted area businesses. So we work throughout Plumas County, but this area is the most critical needs right now. So we're starting with the burn scar area and surrounding, and we're offering services and information to Crescent Mills and Taylorsville and communities that didn't burn, but still were impacted financially, the business owners. And then we're going to be working on business resources that can help business owners throughout Plumas County. Next slide. And the last thing that I wanted to tell you about was the Made in Plumas County support for the holidays for the product makers. You're going to be seeing that Made in Plumas County logo in stores throughout Plumas County on the shelves. We're working with retailers. We'll be giving them these tags. They'll be marking those products that are locally made, so people have more of an awareness about how they can support the local product makers. I think that's all I got. Oh, and there's a bunch of flyers on the back table from us and several of the other organizations that came here today. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Laura. Next up, Glenn Cobley. Small business development center.
Thanks, Zach. Thank you, Dax. Good morning, everybody. I just want to say, this is such a glorious rain, it's gonna end the fire season for sure, and it's gonna start all the growth for next spring. So I think this is just a wonderful third rain we've had this fall. So just really glad to see that. So anyway, I'm from the Sierra Small Business Development Center, which is located in Truckee, and the small business development centers are basically your gateway to business success in Northern California. The Sierra Small Business Development Center serves, those 7 counties, including Plumas, and I cover Plumas, Lass, and then Modoc County. So I guess I can truly say with honor, I'm a road warrior, and I love getting all through Northeastern California. Next page, please. Small Business Development Centers, we've been empowering entrepreneurs since 1980. We're part of the National Small Business Administration SBA network. We have about 1,000 centers across the country. We collaborate with private and public partners to nurture small business growth. Here in California, we partner with the SBA and the state of California. And those are the 2 entities that actually pay my salary so that all my services to you folks are free. So next page, please. Here's some of the things that we offer. And again, all of these are free. We offer one-on-one counseling, assistance with your business plans. Everybody loves writing business plans, right? So, but that's one of our fortes. We assist with marketing, social media plans, strategies, statistical data relevant for your business, technical assistance. We assist with access to capital. Lending is a big part of your business. It's very convoluted, complicated sometimes. And that's where we come in and try to make some sense of it. And we prepare you for those business loans that you want to make so that when you make your application, you are best positioned to get that loan. And of course, we have specialists in all kinds of areas where we have a separate restaurant department. We've had specialists that have been running food trucks in California for 20 years. We have experts that deal in international finance, international exports, agriculture. So you name an industry, we have someone that's an expert in it. So we also have certification for government contracting. And this is important. And I think maybe the Forest Service will probably ditto this. Federal agencies have to use a certain amount of their annual contracts from small businesses and sometimes minority businesses or micro businesses. So we try to help you get positioned so that maybe you can get some of those contracts. And oftentimes they're just plain overlooked, and hopefully we can get more of those here in Plumas County. We also have a certification for women minority-owned business, like I mentioned. Grant information, Laura and I put on a lot of workshops in the last year on the ARPA grant, the CARES Act grant, and the COVID grant and other grants. So we do a lot of that. And then we have free monthly workshops and webinars. Next page. And we tailor our services for every business stage. So if you're thinking of starting a business, before you start, come talk to us, because a lot of times people start a business, they jump in and they've forgotten a few things. And we just want to make sure that you look before you leap. We want to help you get started on the right foot. So please contact us. Startups are generally considered businesses that are less than 2 years old. They have special needs. They're just trying to get out of the gate. Please remember, 60 to 80% of all new businesses fail within the first 3 to 5 years. So we want to make sure that if you're thinking of starting a business, if you're a new startup, that you can keep going so you can be successful. You can make it past that 3 to 5 year threshold and then be a regular existing business that, is hiring people, expanding, and relocating maybe in other areas of the county. Next page. And we have a lot of partnerships. We work with the Sierra Business Council, Chico Start, SBA is actually one of our biggest mainstays. And we do a lot of work with SBA loans. Actually, they're bank loans guaranteed by the SBA. Those are the best loans. I can tell you that SBA disaster loans are almost a disaster in themselves. They're very complicated. And they usually happen after disaster, and they have to hire a whole bunch of people to take care of all new cases. And sometimes the training has been a little bit lacking and things like that. But your regular bank loans that are guaranteed by the SBA are very, very popular. SBA will guarantee 70% of that loan. to you if you can come up with the other 30%. SBA will guarantee you 70%. So why wouldn't your bank say, hey, this is a no-brainer? You know, I don't have any skin in the game. I have very little risk. So yes, I'd like to make this loan to this person. So next page. And we're going to have a lender and contractor roundtable coming up on November 30th at the fairgrounds from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. It's going to be a great roundtable and workshop for would-be borrowers. So if you're thinking of, you know, doing some borrowing, please come. If you're a contractor that wants to get some type of contract with one agency or branch of the government, please come. We can show you how you can get, you know, government contracts and things like that. It's free, and it'll be sponsored by all the people you see down below: U.S. Bank, Plymouth Bank, Innovation Hub, Sierra Small Business Development Center, the SBA. So really looking forward to giving out a lot of information on that. Next page. And as I said, we're the driving economic growth in Northern California. Last year alone, we consulted with 16,000 businesses in California. We facilitated $645 million in capital investments. And I want you to look at that last word, investments. That's how you can rebuild the community. You have to invest in the community. All you business owners know that you have to invest in your business. So we're trying to help business owners get grants, get loans, you know, so they can make an investment, so they can expand their business, they can hire more people, they can raise the local economy, things like that. And we help create more than 10,000 new jobs. And I am your advisor here in Plymouth County, along with Leslie and Modoc. Next page. And if you want to get started, as I mentioned, all of our services are free, always have been. One simple little catch, you simply have to register with the Sierra Small Business Development Center. So just go to sierrasbdc.com and click sign up. You have to fill out a few little information boxes, agree to some type of intake interview, and then you get assigned to me, or if you need some other type of specialist, you know, we'll get that for you. So next page, and there's my contact information. You probably recognize me. I was the co-chair of the Dixie Fire Collaborative with Sue Weber, you know, since September, I should say October 2021 until May of this year. So I see a lot of familiar faces out there this morning. Paula, I did not see chocolate in the back of the room this morning, so really disappointed, Paula. But everybody else, good to see you. And there's my information. You can call me anytime. I live in Hamilton Branch. I'm kind of retired, but I'm working basically full time. So, but you can call me 7 days a week, and I'd love to hear from you. So I think that's it. One more page if there is not. If not, I think that's it. That's it. Is that it? Okay. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Clint. Next up, joining us via Zoom, we have Eva Shepard with Chico Start.
All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for the invite. For those of you who do not know me, I'll give you a little background and then I'll tell you how long I've been helping your area. So again, my name is Eva Shepard Nickel. I'm the executive director for Chico Start. Chico Start is your North State Accelerate California iHub. We are a state designated lead for 23 counties, including Plymouth County. So we do a lot of support for the SBDC, and we work very well with Sierra SBDC and Sierra Business Council and in Indian Valley Innovation Hub, and we're supporting their Made in Plymouth initiatives as well. What does that mean? What does Accelerate California Innovation, iHub mean? It means that we provide additional resources also for free based on the support for our rural counties through that program. So I'll tell you a little bit about Chico Start, a little bit about what we're doing for your area. So the focus is on the entrepreneurial ecosystem. My background in helping through the Sonoma fires and living here through the Camp Fire and being a Camp Fire victim has put me in a kind of unique position. One of the things I'm going to show here through share screen is I'm going to go to, hold on 1 second. I'm going to go to my website so I can share that with you all. One moment. And then you can see all the things. Let's see if I can do this. Oh, there it is. Let's share. All right, so this is not my homepage. I'm taking you straight to my resources page.
We're not seeing.
Okay, you can see it?
No, we can't see you.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. All right, let me stop share and let me reshare. One moment. Share. Now you should see a white and green screen, or excuse me, white and orange screen. No?
My side.
Okay, I'll do stop share again, and then I'll go to share screen, which is a green button on the bottom. I'll go to, and then we'll try this one more time.
Tyler, do you know how she can share through us?
My guess is it's not on the one that's projected. Okay.
So if you exit out of the projector. Yeah, so she's sharing. No, that's not her.
I already turned mine off again until you guys have. So when you go down to the bottom, there's a green button that says share screen. And when you guys click on it, you should see an option that says multiple people can share. And that's the one that you need to click.
Yeah, I have that one selected.
Okay, so I will try it again. One moment.
Yeah, should we?
And maybe refresh on your side.
You pull up the website on your side.
Yeah, you could do that. Thank you. Okay, so if you pull up chicostart.com, HTTPS, one of the things you'll see, and once you do that, I will pull mine up, my home screen up, and I'll try to give directions from there. So one of the things I would ask you to go to is under programs. So on the top bar where the menu is, under programs, you'll see something that says iHub 2 with an arrow to the right. Okay, and when you click on that, you'll see something called accelerated by. And if you move your mouse over to accelerated by, you'll see 5 different prompts. One says Ridge Start, one says Work Hub, one says Indian Valley Innovation Hub, and one says Advancing MODOC, Siskiyou Works, etc. Those are all of the areas we currently support. We have about 6 more in the pipeline. If you click on Indian Valley Innovation Hub, you'll see that you guys have your own entrepreneurial resources page. Okay, it has your logo on it, has your Start Grow Thrive, which is Chico Start's motto, so to speak, and also has a photo of the with photo credit to Jake Edwards. That's a beautiful picture in Plumas County. So we support and enrich the Plumas County entrepreneurial ecosystem by providing entrepreneurs, startups, and small businesses the resources they need to start, grow, and thrive. That's what it says there. We have done that through providing links to all of our programs, all of our workshops, all of our webinars. We've helped support the entrepreneurship rallies up there, the county fair, the Made in Plumas initiative, and one-on-one counseling as well as technical assistance in support of entrepreneurs up there. So we have several that we are helping in your area. We're both available on site at times, probably monthly at the most, and then also via Zoom. We just got through hosting Global Entrepreneurship Week, and where that also included several workshops, everything from starting your side hustle to making the numbers work to entrepreneurial wellness. And then we had a whole day focused on women in ag and ag tech. We feel that that's a huge focus, of course, for our North State. Now, as I said, I cover 23, or may have said, I cover 23 counties, including Plumas County. And as part of that, my big focus is bringing resources to rural communities. And not just, that's what I'm looking for, not just lip service. So for those of you managing the Zoom screen on your side and thankfully going along, if you go back to my homes screen, please, for Chico Start, and go under resources. Go down all the way down that list to business resources, please. And that's where you'll see the screen. If you just click on it, you'll see a whole bunch of boxes pop up. Okay, and those boxes start out with SBDC and some other things, but scroll down. There's like 10 or 12 boxes. Scroll down until you see disaster relief. So under disaster relief, I collaborated with Sonoma County early on with their disasters, and that came in very handy for the Camp Fire disaster. So I have everything from COVID prevention to how to prepare your business for disaster, to disaster resiliency. I have several, numerous resources listed there under everything from hazard awareness to general resources to hazard specific, whether it be earthquake, tsunami, public power shutoffs, etc. So it's not just wildfire, but pretty much everything. And then other after a disaster and how to recover after a disaster. So one of the titles you'll see is after a disaster and how to recover and rebuild your business, how to check on your team, how to assess the damage, how to file your insurance claims, securing additional funding, etc. And then the last one is outsmarting a disaster. So that's in conjunction with the California government site that has a whole bunch of information on not only preparedness, but also risk mitigation. As you'll see, there's tons of stuff in this area under resources. We also have things in Spanish for our Spanish speaking businesses. I will put in a personal note about all this. I've been helping the Indian Valley Innovation Hub members for about 1.5 years. And it's been a pleasure to do so. I can tell you, though, that as a Camp Fire victim, you can't get focused on business recovery soon enough. So if you're not doing it now, you know, I'm not saying that no one is, I'm just saying that probably 10 times more effort needs to be put in that area. One group will probably argue, oh, we need houses. Yes, we do. But let me talk to you about what shop local actually means. If you don't know already, if you're in a disaster impacted area, the typical paycheck lasts 2 to 6 hours in a disaster impacted area. That money only stays local from 2 to 6 hours. If you're not in a disaster impacted area, say in an area currently, just say currently, like Chico or Redding, it lasts up to 6 weeks. Can you imagine the difference? I don't know. I emphasize that because the quicker that you get your businesses back, the quicker you get your money back in your area and the quicker the money stays invested. And I am here to not only testify to that, but also here to help in any way, shape, or form that I can. If you have any questions or would like more information about Chico Start and how we can help you, we support Clint and his efforts, and we also support Laura and her efforts. We've been working with the county at the county level already, and we're also looking at grants for your area. I don't know that it doesn't look like we're doing Q&A, but I wanted to make sure that I was here to represent and support what you all are doing. I will leave I have business information with Laura, and she has printouts of some of our resources. Happy to take any questions afterwards.
All right, thank you, Eva. Okay, next up, Robert Longman with Rural Community Assistance Corporation. Is Robert here?
He's on Zoom as well.
Good morning. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
I guess afternoon now. Yeah, thank you for having us participate. Appreciate it. And a little bit about RCAC to start with. We're a nonprofit CDFI loan fund, CDFI being Community Development Financial Institution, which is a Treasury certified lender under the CDFI program. We're a regional nonprofit. We cover 13 Western states, including Hawaii and Alaska, and have staff in various locations within those states. So I was advised that your primary focus today was on business lending and economic development. And so the brochure that's displayed now, I know it's a little probably difficult to read, but is our business lending program brochure. Getting back to what Clint talked about a little earlier, we are an SBA approved lender for what's called the Community Advantage Program, which is really a great program for small businesses, not only existing businesses, but also can do startups under that program. It's up to $350,000 and is one of the most lenient business programs for equity requirements that is available. So for small startups, small businesses, is not designed for large businesses. That's an excellent program. For larger business needs, dollar wise and size of business, we use the USDA, what's called Business and Industry Loan Program, which is designed for the larger businesses that aren't captured under the SBA program primarily. There are a lot of differences in those programs, which we won't go into, but they're both very viable. And we do work with the local SBDCs, with applicants to develop. The SBDCs can really provide assistance in developing business plans and projections and those types of things. So we appreciate their working with them very much. So under the business loan programs, we have different elements of that, from lines of credit, operating, revolving lines, term loans for equipment or real estate purchases, and working capital loans. So we do have a pretty good variety, or a big variety of types of loans. Again, for larger loans or anything over 250,000, we generally get a guarantee from either the SBA Community Advantage Program, USDA, or we also utilize a state small business guarantee program. So a lot of different options. And again, startups are eligible, as well as existing existing businesses. So we're happy to look at any of those. I think our Taylor, I believe one of our employees had sent a number of our program flyers, and I think you have those available at the venue there, and would encourage people to pick those up and take a look at it. Which leads us to the next slide here, which is, sorry, again, kind of probably, well, there it's better, is a summary description of our various loan programs. And those include affordable housing, which someone addressed earlier, again, business loan programs. We do environmental infrastructure, a lot of environmental infrastructure lending, which is basically water and wastewater systems, community facilities. We do loans for hospitals, clinics, childcare, community centers, all kind of different community facility type of entities and projects. So we also should mention that we don't do mortgage lending, but we do make loans and grants under a state program and also a USDA program for individuals for water well and septic system replacement or repairs. So that is our only program other than business lending to, sole proprietors and so forth that we make loans to individuals. Our core programs of community facility, infrastructure, and so forth are and affordable housing are to nonprofit, tribal, or public body entities. But individual loans and grants, there's a state water well grant program to replace water wells that have gone dry. We administer that program on behalf of the state of California. We also have a septic system and water well replacement or repair program to individual property owners that's funded by USDA rural development. So we have a wide variety of types of loans. Our offices are located in West Sacramento, California. I'm actually in south of you in Yuba County up in the foothills, but our office is in West Sacramento. So we're happy to talk with anyone at any time. Again, on this slide and on the other one is a list of our loan officers. We have 7 loan officers that are located in various locations in our 13 state service area. There you go. Thank you, Taylor. And they're happy to talk with you. Their areas that they cover are listed there. So if you have any need in any of these programs, and of course, I know your focus today is more on business, and that's fine. Any of our loan officers can help you with that. Mike Archer is listed there as a Northern California loan officer, and you can contact either him or me at any time, and we're happy to talk with anyone who might benefit from our loan program. So thank you, and be happy. I don't know if you're taking questions now, Taylor, or at the end, but either way, thank you for the time.
Thank you, Robin.
Joan Carter.
Joan Carter, did you have something to share with us?
I'm Joan Carter, and I work for NBCSS, as you all know. I do have, the infamous X. I hope it's not a cross, it's an X, right? Yeah. I just wanted to announce on behalf of KD that he has offered us something really wonderful. He's offered his larger home as a community center for us. And it will be available after the first of the year for any groups that would like to have meetings at the community center. It's going to be called the Casa. On the 30th of November, we're going to have an open house, and it will be a potluck, and we're going to have music. I'll be getting some flyers out so you'll all know that it's going to be happening. And I'm not sure quite what the hours will be yet. We just decided on it yesterday. But there'll be a calendar available at the home. You all know where it is. It's over to the left of the Plumas Bank. It'll be the larger house, which is the 3-bedroom house. And I think there's going to be a real need for this. And so he wanted to make sure that we did have a place for everybody to have their meetings. And we'll work out, what days it'll be available every day during the week. It will also be available for private parties if you want to have a birthday party or any kind of event for, private use. We'll be able to have, like I said, a calendar, and you'll be able to sign up. I'll be there on Tuesdays and Wednesdays from 10 to 3 for NBCSS. The shoe bank will be there And so anyway, if you have an interest in that, you can either call me, or you can call KD, or you can stop by. And there will be somebody, who will be there, all the time. He's a member of, the, Sierra Institute, and he will be living in the right-hand side of the house. So there'll be somebody there at all times, and you can drop by and sign up on the calendar or get in. There will be access that way. Or you can get a hold of me if you need to get in and he's not there for some reason or whatever. But I'm really excited about us being able to have this available until such time as we really have an honest to goodness, bona fide community center. Katie said that he wanted to make sure that we had a place where we could all come together and get hugs. So I said, well, maybe we should call it the Hug Center. And he said, no, we're calling it the Casa. I said, okay. So anyway, I hope that we can all utilize this, and I hope it brings us all together. So anyway, I'm really excited about it.
Thank you, John. Sounds like a great resource that we're gonna have there. All right, we'll do the share out section of the meeting where anybody can share any pertinent information. I have one quick thing I wanted to start with. I was asked to share that the December meeting of Greenville Rotary, during that meeting, they'll be naming the community members of the year. So we have that to look forward to. Is there anybody who'd like to share anything?
In the back on the table, there's a flyer for a fifth wheel that's available for sale and a truck that can pull it. So if anyone would like to look at that and make a phone call, that would be great.
All right, anybody else?
Hi, thank you. I'm sorry I didn't get on the regular calendar in time for this meeting, but I'm Kira King, the president of the Chamber of Commerce, the Main Valley Chamber of Commerce here. So we have lots of things. Grab your calendars because I've got 4 events I'm going to put on there and I don't have up on a slide. You are welcome to call me anytime or contact us right now through the Indian Valley Chamber of Commerce Facebook site. Myself, Alicia Hamrick's gone for the time being, Cassie Barr, Suzette Reed, Travis Goings, we're all on the board, Mary Shiro. So contact any of us for any of this. But for Thanksgiving, the turkey trot, annual turkey trot will be on at 8 a.m. starting on Thanksgiving morning. The start is at the spot. If you sign on earlier, I think you can just Google the turkey trot for here. Carissa Joseph, I believe, is heading that. And if you sign on early, I know you'll get a t-shirt. If you sign on day of, I think they run out because you plan on too many extras on that. So immediately following that, the Way Station is doing their traditional free community turkey Thanksgiving dinner, noon to 3 o'clock at the spot. We have lots of great community members who have contributed money, time, and food. We'll have lots of volunteers out there, and it's free to everyone, noon to 3. So we had a great showing last year. I hope to have that again this year. Please come on out. That's all on Thanksgiving. You probably all know about the light parade in Taylorsville, so just plugging that. Please come to the light parade on Saturday after Thanksgiving in Taylorsville. That will be immediately followed by a dance at the historic Taylorsville Hall, put on by a group of local entrepreneurs who are fostering business and entertainment in the it's immediately following the light parade, and I believe the light parade starts at dark. Because it's all lit up and they need it to be dark. And there'll be a basic bar at the dance. Danny Horton's Trio is the band playing there for Saturday night. So hope to see you all out there. There's also going to be a Christmas light parade Christmas light contest. And this is for the community-wide, all the way Canyon Dam, Indian Valley in general, both for businesses and individuals. And we'd like you to have your lights up by the 15th. Suzette Reed is kind of heading that. She will, at least on Facebook, promote some entry forms. There's no entry fee. We will have that judged on the 15th, and only the individual winner of the individual homes will get a little prize basket. We're not going to give a prize basket for the businesses, but we definitely hope everybody can contribute to that. It's really great to have the community all lit up. And then we are also hoping to have, and a little bit more info to this oncoming, a Chamber of Commerce mixer, and we're looking at Saturday the 16th. We need to check all the other community calendars and everything else going on then, but I will give you more information on all of that as soon as we get it. I think that was everything on my both Way Station Spot and Chamber of Commerce updates, and I'll hang around as well as anybody else has any questions after. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other updates?
Hello, everyone. My name is Tracy Ferguson. I'm the Plumas County Planning Director, and I'm here to update on a couple economic development grants. So first, the CARES Act grant, that deadline was end of July, and we had 25 applicants. These are small micro businesses, 5 or fewer employees. Up to $50,000 is the grant. And we have been since August processing those, the underwriting, the eligibility requirements and so forth. And currently we have 20 that are still moving forward in the process. And I expect next month to be able to announce those awards. And then come early 2024, actually be dispersing those monies. So long time coming, but we are at the kind of the end of it. I know I see Clint over there. He's been a great champion and helping behind the scenes with the entrepreneurs that have applied, getting all those eligibility requirements. It's quite rigorous. So I thank those that have applied for their patience and understanding, and we're getting to the end of the process. Again, awards to be announced in December next month, and then disbursement in early 2024. So total amount of $409,000 total is the pot of money, again, up to $50,000 per grant. We know we may be underprescribed actually with those 20 and what they've asked for. So more to come on if, you know, that those that have applied can seek additional monies as well. So, and then the second economic development grant I wanted to talk about is the CDBG, that's Community Development Block Grant, Annual Economic Development Grant. This was a grant collaboratively working with Dixie Fire Collaborative. It was May of 2022 we applied, so some time ago, and how the State Housing and Community Development has worked with us up through, this is a HUD grant, Housing and Urban Development. And we were awarded $750,000 in August. So good news, coming to local businesses here in Greenville. There is a geographic eligibility, so all of that will be explained, certain census tracts and block groups based on the CDBG national objective. So a lot of details there, but big picture, $750,000 total. What's coming to the businesses is around $550,000. So the remaining is the administration of the grant. We need to release a request for proposal for a consultant to help us with that grant, setting up the guidelines in association with Dixie Fire Collaborative. Also, Sierra Small Business Development Center is a partner in that grant. And so the money would be going to equipment and supplies for businesses. So let's say you're a business that wants to come back in these geographic areas that are eligible, meaning Greenville proper and whatnot. You are going to build your actual brick and mortar, your building itself, but you need help with the inventory. and the equipment and the supplies and the counters and the cabinets and the cash register and the, you know, stocking the shelves and all those things. So that's the idea of the grant. Again, details to come with the guidelines and eligibility requirements and so forth. But please reach out and contact me if you're a business who may be interested in wanting some assistance with equipment and supplies for your rebuild, commercial retail, you know, business. And you could also help us, you know, craft these guidelines potentially behind the scenes so that we can, you know, offer what you need, because we definitely want to meet the needs of the local businesses in this economic development component for recovery. So thank you.
Thanks, Teresa. I think there's a comment on Zoom I'm going to read. Dean Garvin with Alliance for Workforce Development Services are no charge for business and job seekers. And he left his email and phone number here for anybody who's interested.
Can I expand on that also? This is Dean.
Yeah, go ahead, Dean.
Good morning, and Laura and Eva. I've been in touch with them. Hopefully going to be getting partnering up with the Innovation Hub there to get them a worker that they definitely needed for a while. And I'm sorry this has taken so long. Sadly, we've had some turnover and family emergencies up in that area, but we're going to be moving forward. For Alliance for Workforce Development, we're a nonprofit also. We're doing the anywhere in Plumas and Lassen counties for businesses that are looking for help. We can post jobs, and then under certain times we can do the on-the-job training, able to reimburse a facility up to 30%, 50%, sorry, of up to the employee's wages. And then we also have a work experience also that we're gonna work with Laura on. And then job seekers also, no charge. If you know anybody that's looking for work, we can help with resumes and things along those lines. I know this is more business orientated, but thought I would give that little plug too of another service we do. Like I said, just wanted to make it short and sweet that, you know, looking to help the businesses with our grant money to get them some help, and usually it's about 3 to 4 months that we can help support these new employees at the businesses. And you have my information if you want to talk more and need some help, things along those lines. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, everybody. I am Michaela Trammell. It's good to see so many friendly faces here. So I'm actually with the Dixie Fire Canopy Project. It's a new 501c3 in our area that's looking to bring the green back to Greenville. It's a free tree program, free trees, shrubs, plants, everything you need, dirt, mulch, irrigation for the private residences that are rebuilding, the commercial properties, and much larger scale projects that we will be working in. We're talking collaborations with the Greenville Elementary School here, a community garden, the museum potentially. There's a lot of people who have been trying to get on our list. So we're going to be working for the next 3 to 5 years in multiple phases, depending on the stages of rebuilding that everybody's in. So we're going to be at the spot. We will have a mobile office coming soon. I do have business cards on the back there. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Again, this is completely free of cost. Nobody will have to pay anything for any of this. It's going to be a grant funded program. There's going to be larger grants and smaller grants coming in. We're working with many different entities. So it's going to be a really good thing for our residents of the Greenville, Indian Valley area, as well as Canyon Dam, Indian Falls, and other areas that were affected by the Dixie Fire. So you can contact me through my email or text message. We're on Facebook. I do have business cards, and I will be here to answer any questions. And I will hand it back. Thank you.
Any other updates from anybody? Yes, Laura.
I just wanted to give a reminder about the Indian Valley Community Dinner in Taylorsville on Monday. Debbie Allen is making roasted chicken, baked beans, garden salad, and dessert, and that starts at 4:30 and it goes till 6:30.
Can't hear you.
And she needs some volunteers for the community dinner. Just letting you know.
What day and what hours?
It's on Monday and it's the third Monday of every month from 4:30 PM to 6:30 PM. Yeah. And it's at the historic Taylorsville Hall.
All right, great. Clint?
Good morning, I'm Clint Cobley from the Sierra Small Business Development Center and also the Indian Valley Innovation Hub. I want to thank Tracy for her diligent work on that CARES grant. I know, Tracy, you inherited this to no desire of your own quite some time ago, but you've stuck with it. In between the CARES Act grant, Tracy, and the ARPA grant, you know, you're bringing $1 million worth of small business grants that have really had tremendous effect, so thank you. I also want to make a notice that if you caught in the gentleman from RCAC, when he said that we actually make loans to startups, very few banks do, because again, 60 to 80% of new businesses fail in the first 3 to 5 years, and so banks are very, you know, skittish sometimes about lending to new businesses, but RCAC does give loans to startups, which are generally 2 years or less in business. So there are resources like that, and there's other resources. So please come and see us, or come see me or Laura. We'll put you in touch with the lender that can help your small business. So thank you.
Any other updates out there? Yes.
Hello, I'm Daniel from the La Sierra Food Project. We are a nonprofit out of Quincy, and our goal is to just promote food access throughout the county. We are just kind of getting out of our early business phase, and while most of our kind of work has been focused in Quincy so far, we're looking to expand to other communities in the county. So to that end, later today, actually, here in this cafeteria at 5:30, we're going to be hosting a preserving workshop. Come on down, it's free. And we'll, if you're interested in learning more about preserving, or if you want to share your knowledge about preserving with other folks who come, that'd be great. And if anybody has any feedback about food access programs or things that you think would help with food access in Greenville and Indian Valley, please let me or Emma in the back know. Yeah, thank you for the time.
Okay, any other updates? Anybody? All right, well, that's it. Q&A for any of our previous speakers.
Thank you. My name is John Simon. I'm a resident of Indian Valley. Recently, I've learned and attended one meeting at the county level regarding U.S. Copper Corp's proposal of an open pit copper mine in the North Arm, Indian Valley. And I know this might seem like it's unrelated, but it seems like it's totally related to me. I'm wondering if anybody here from any agency, maybe the planning lady from the county, might be able to speak a little more less passionately than myself. If you're not aware of this, I'm just trying to alert you to the fact that it is a happening thing and you need to educate yourself. And the planning meeting that I went to held by Twins County was standing room only, and had not only, had only been announced 2 days in advance of that meeting. We packed the room. There's another meeting coming up. And if you're not aware of it, I am not sure, but I see the planning lady, maybe. I think she's jumping at the bit here. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, I'm Tracy Ferguson, the planning director. So where do I begin? I'll kind of make it high level, but yes, we did receive an application for what is called a vested rights determination from US Copper Corp. And so that application goes before the county zoning administrator. That is the arbitrator of the decision-making process. We have a Plymouth County Code of Ordinances that speaks to the State Surface Mining Reclamation Act, or SMARA. So all of this is under what we call SMARA. And there was a public meeting hearing in October in which Becky Herron, who is the Assistant Planning Director, retired and annuitant as the staff planner, brought forward a recommendation on that vested rights determination. And much public comment was received. We are just finishing up actually the minutes for that meeting. I'm reviewing those minutes, so the public will know in those meeting minutes all the public comment that was received, the applicant's comments, the zoning administrator comments. Typically, myself as the planning director is the zoning administrator. Since I have so few staff right now, I have stepped back, and through my appointment, Jim Graham from Public Works is the interim zoning administrator. So point of fact, Jim Graham, interim zoning administrator, is the arbitrator of what is this vested rights determination. So what Jim Graham did at the hearing in October was continue the hearing to December 13th. So that is the day, Wednesday, December 13th. It'll be 10 a.m. A gentleman said that it was standing room only, which was true, in our small planning and building conference room. So we are looking to have that meeting in the mineral building at the fairgrounds. So it's a larger room, more seating capacity. We can have a podium, potentially microphones, that sort of a thing, to continue to receive public comment. Jim Graham continued because he needed time to review the materials. Everything is up on the zoning administrator webpage. So planning department homepage, there's a zoning administrator link on the left-hand side. You scroll down the page, you'll see the information there, both the staff report with staff recommendation that was presented in October, and then the full, it's like 450 pages of what the applicant has submitted for this vested rights determination. So a lot of historical information there. This is a factual and legal determination. It's not whether the county likes or doesn't like this project. That's not what we're talking about and discussing. It's very per state statute, per SMARA, per vested rights determinations, legal and factual. So what has occurred on this property? There are two pieces of property, two assessor parcel numbers or APNs. They're both zoned general forest, which does permit mining per current day zoning. But what the applicant is seeking is vested rights, meaning that 1976 was when SMARA went into effect, the State Surface Mining Reclamation Act, as I mentioned, which then did bring forward rules, regulations, and so forth in the state of California that look at mines. Previous to that, Plymouth County, we have no less than 20 mines, 20 mines in this county. And so being a resource extraction county in the history of mines, in 1958, we have a county ordinance that speaks to mines, that speaks to, a special use permit process, a conditional use process to process mines with both a mine permit process and then a reclamation plan process. That was in 58. So this vested rights determination looks at the history of these parcels and what mining has occurred, and this goes back to late 1800s. So it predates the state rules, it predates the county rules, and so in that regard, they want to vest to a more of a date certain prior to any rules and regulations that would require permits to mine from the county. Okay, so hopefully that's kind of, you know, helps with the description of what the vested rights determination today is. Should vested rights be determined moving forward, the applicant would not be required to have a permit to mine from Plumas County, but would be required to have a reclamation plan, which would also have a California Environmental Quality Act document, a CEQA document, environmental document to make sure that the land, the landscape, the environment is taken care of post-mining operation. So that then that reclamation plan, which is in the purview of the county, which would have to be processed, would be there and in place at the end of the mining period. So short of having a permit to mine from the county, again, vested rights, you would not have one, you would have a rec plan, but the applicant would nonetheless, in the operation of the mine and mine, would have to have, you know, CAL FIRE, timber harvest plan, a water board cert, an air board cert, you know, different state and federal regulations would apply to the operations so that the environment would be taken care of within the plans. To date, the applicant has not given the county, even, you know, to know themselves what this operation may look like, the scope, the scale, the amount of material to be taken out, the time frame in which this would be taken out. All of that has not been determined to date. This is a step-by-step process. And the first step is this vested rights determination. So for them to go at risk, although we know that to get to this point, they have been, which they are permitted to do, go out and do exploratory borings and drillings and those sorts of things. So it's like, is there actual material out there as a commodity in a certain quantity that would, you know, want them to seek then what entitlements they need to actually have the operation occur. So as far as that goes, they have done those things. And if there is, again, quantities unknown out there, that then they want to move forward with this process. So, but.
When it's not quantities, I know if you become a member of the email, they will send you what is expected to be. Well, there's two mining terms. I'm not familiar with both of them, but there's the good stuff and there's the better stuff. And they're going to tell you on that page, they'll send it to you for free. You sign up to U.S. Copper Corp. They are looking for investors and they will tell you exactly how many billions and billions and billions they are after their boring. They have sampled. It is super rich and they will tell you the quantity.
Okay, so.
And what is SAMSARA or what is it?
The Surface Mine and Reclamation Act, SMARA. So this is out of the State Department of Conservation, Division of Mine Reclamation is who we deal with, DMR, but in total it's, and vested rights used to be at the state level, it got squirrely, and so they put vested rights back to the county level. So it is our county discretion to do the due diligence to protect the county and our rights. At the same time, the applicant and the landowner has rights. And so through this vested rights process or determination, again, it's factual, it's legal. So back to Jim Graham and the continuance that he wants more time and actually to seek third party, you know, consultation, whether that's likely a SMARA expert and an attorney that knows about SMARA to then review the entire record and then provide a third-party opinion to Plumas County to say that, you know, again, we have a staff recommendation that we are confident in, you know, what we have said, which is to vest because of the factual and legal information before us as staff, which was presented and then verified through the staff report and the you know, that whole process of reviewing the application and the materials provided. So to go further is to have a verification of what we've been given, again, that then would be presented sometime in the future. So on December 13th. We know we don't have a consultant on board right now. It's going to take some time. So to hold the December 13th hearing, to have additional public comment potentially, needs to be focused on the vested rights determination. Again, legal, factual information as to why the county shouldn't vest this line in operation. It needs to be factual and legal. It cannot be emotional. We understand the community's position, those that live out there, and the traffic and the trips and the sort of the disruption that may occur. There's the economic development side that I've heard as well, that the supporters that would say, well, no, this brings jobs and economic development and so forth, but how do we balance both and make sure the environment is taken care of at the same time? So the 13th for the expectation to have additional public comment potentially, but no decision of the zoning administrator, frankly, because the county is seeking that third-party consultant to then help us understand what has been put before us. Are we missing anything? There are lawsuits, litigation out there that we have cited, but is there other things that may be material to this decision that we haven't? You don't know what you don't know. So to get the experts to let us know if we've missed anything in the review, that then a decision would be sometime in 2024. In speaking to the applicant, this is a long process. For them, again, if they get the vested rights, then into the operations and all the state and federal permitting that they would need. And, this is a 5-year, to even, to think about when the operation would be ongoing, or commenced, I guess, or whatever. So anyway, this isn't going to happen in 6 months. It's, thinking more like on a 5-year time frame for actual operation of the mine, should that occur as an end game.
Thank you for your input.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Number one, are we gonna be able to see this county report and have time to process it before the meeting?
Yes, so the information up online right now, again, is the staff report, the backup to the staff report, and then the full applicant information. And that, yes, any additional information, the meeting minutes, we did receive some information from some members of the public that may be material to the decision. So additional information up and within the record. And then, yes, any information would be, it's a 10-day public notice, which the meeting was noticed 10 days publicly and distributed. I don't know, certain members of the public don't receive it. It did get into Plymouth Sun and some others, just a couple days before the meeting. So the gentleman who didn't know about it, but it is a Brown Act 72-hour agenda notice and a 10-day public notice for public hearing.
So where is that public notice in place? It's not in the
So it is Plymouth Sun, well, so the agenda is the 72-hour notice. And so if they picked up the agenda, we Plymouth County, typically we post on our webpage, and then we also post physically on our 555 Main Street bulletin board and at the bulletin board in front of the Board of Supervisor Chambers, room 308, 3rd floor of the courthouse. So that was a comment during the hearing, was to get the information out early and often to the community, working with Plymouth Sun. So to do better, to try to disseminate that, and then you all will help us disseminate amongst yourself.
Another question is, what's the difference between pit mining and mountaintop removal?
I don't know that answer. I'm not a mining expert.
You know what that's what we're gonna have to do to it?
No, the county has not received any application information, as I said.
Thank you.
All right, I think we have a question.
Eva Shepherd.
We have Eva Shepherd back here on Zoom.
Hi, good afternoon again, everyone. It's not a question. I really wanted to kind of piggyback on something Clint said. And in reviewing the fire recovery grant summary for Plymouth County, I just want to actually congratulate you all. I really wanted to bring it to you, it's amazing. You guys gotten over $27 million with a fire recovery grant. And of which 1.8 is dedicated for economic development. And so it's just, and almost none of them require matching funds. Some do, but so you guys are working with many different disaster impacted areas. I just wanted to say congratulations that, you guys are working hard to get this money into your campus. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Eva. Any other questions out there?
One final question. Could we as a county have a ballot initiative to prevent open pit and mining? That's something that we do.
Can you
We obviously had something 1968 and 78 that's mining.
That's the county ordinance.
Can we initiate a ballot process or something like that?
I don't know that answer. I think we could talk to county council or see, yeah, but I think, we can always amend the, county ordinance certainly. But I think it rolls up to state law and SMARA and the act. And so I think, we have to do what is the minimum as to SMARA. Could we go more restrictive? In code and, so forth, yes, local jurisdictions have discretion to be more restrictive, but not less restrictive than state law. So to look at the question you're asking and in context of state law would need to be done.
All right, another question over here.
Yes, I'd like to thank the representative from whoever for ceding the rest of his time to me. For Joe Hoffman, thank you very much for your presentation. On the way up, I noticed North Fork, as it was dumping into East Branch, was bringing in a tremendous amount of turbidity, which has to affect the fish habitat significantly in that fishery. How, I don't know whether that's due to additional rainfall, mudslides into the river, or mining activities along the river. How are you anticipating, or I guess, what is your action with regard to further control of erosion throughout the watershed? We see it locally in small areas, and there was certainly a significant contribution. So erosion control.
So the spot you were looking at is basically Caribou, where the North Fork gets into the North Fork River proper from Seneca and from Eleanor, right, gets into the East Branch, right, and it comes to North Fork. So there were two big slides up there. When did that happen? In June, I believe, as a result of those thunderstorms. I don't know how many people are aware of that. We had some heavy rains. Were you aware of that?
Oh yeah, I'm really aware of what's going on.
Okay, yeah. So there were two big slides that came down and basically dammed the river. And so PG&E is working. They worked on a partial mitigation plan. It basically put the river up onto the paved road there. That's Forest Service Road. PG&E has come up with a short-term plan, phase 1, to get the water off the road. And I'm not sure how far they are. I'd have to check with some staff in terms of how far they are in trying to rebuilding that channel, removing that material. Now, I'm not sure if that's where, this, the turbidity that you're seeing, if it's coming from that slide material, it could be, it dumped a lot of material there. But this is also something that happens pretty frequently, post fire, because we got, when you have a rainstorm, there's just not the things to hold the soil in place. Rain can just come and hit the ground hard instead of having vegetation to intercept it, things like that. So it frees up the soil. In terms of planning, with revegetation, trying to get stuff, brush moves in pretty quick, and that does help stabilize soils and reduce turbidity. It's not great for the ecosystem to just have a lot of brush out there, but it does stabilize the soil. And then we have a lot of roads out on the forest. We have 4,000 miles of system road on Plumas National Forest. So that's a frequent place where turbidity can get into the streams, as runoff from roads. Those are just a couple that I would highlight in terms of forest activities. So as part of that project that we're looking at, you know, we'll be incorporating road treatments and we're trying to do the ecosystem work to improve that. I don't know if that helps.
Yeah, well, I guess the stupidity was a sidelight. It's more evidence of what's going on, which is erosion. Is the Forest Service actively taking a look at, okay, how are we going to control this mountain over here from Washington down into the town or other areas that have lost the ground cover? I mean, are there physical barriers being put in place or, you know, road checks and stuff like that?
It's, you know, the burned area emergency response is there bear. We do post-fire response. We did some road treatments. In terms of like treating hillsides, I don't know if you remember Moonlight Fire, we did some helicopter mulching where you drop straw from the helicopters and it's very expensive. We've done some good studies since then. That was like 2008. It's not super effective. It helps. I mean, the short answer, it's really hard to put it back the way it was. You know, the vegetation moving in is the best stabilization. And that happens relatively quick, which is good news. You know, we're still in, what are we in the second year, basically, maybe going into the third runoff season. So I think things should start improving just because there's a lot of brush moving in.
Okay, thank you. Real quick to Laura. You know, the cell and internet service has been, you know, a topic of discussion, sometimes more heated than others during the course of the recovery. One of the things that came to mind in your discussion was, is there or has there been given thought to a or shared IT supervisor, IT person to go from place to place to lend a hand that, you know, the individual could probably be covered, you know, the expenses covered by some state, you know, organization, association, whatever, to provide assistance to business owners who want to but don't know how to. That's just a, you know, a toss out there to
I think that's a great idea, and I'm glad you brought that up. We do have someone that works with Indian Valley Innovation Hub that has been helping spearhead the what's happening with IT around here and Wi-Fi. I'm going to turn this over to Clint because he has more information than just about anyone but.
Well, I don't know if I have that much information, Laura, but we do have our Greenville Wi-Fi project where we brought in Wi-Fi from Portola through Sierra Telecommunications. We brought it over to Mount Huff, down into Chris Myers Ranch, and then over to the Indian Valley Medical Facility, then the high school, and then over to the spot. And we are trying to expand that. But I think we've had some other movement with the county on that. Would you care to elaborate on that a little bit?
Sure. Oh, there he is.
Good afternoon. I can give a little bit of an update. It is just gonna be quick informational. Yesterday, right at the end of the day, we received the strategic plan that I have been discussing with you guys. It is the high level overview. It's not specific to Plumas County. We're expecting that one in about 10 days to 2 weeks around the end of the month, first week of November. So that's going to be our Plumas County specific broadband plan that discusses a lot of the design of bringing the internet in, where it's going, how it's happening. We've been really excited to see some of the progress that's being made with Frontier over Old Hunt Road. And so we're excited to see how that's going to play into the plan. But as far as specifics, we don't really have very many specific updates at this time, just waiting on that final plan to get going so that they can start work in the spring of where that's going to be happening. So like we had said, there's some happening out in East County, looking at the connection between coming over from Canyon Dam into Indian Valley, continuing down the 8970 corridor, and how that will eventually connect with the idea of going down 70 toward the valley, or continuing 8970 back toward Quincy, because the fiber optic that ends there just ends right at just before Butterfly at Roundhouse Road there. So just making those connections and trying to ensure that there's a cohesive plan moving forward. Again, we are excited to see that Miss Bank is making its way back in, the connection on Old Hunt Road is happening. And that's kind of our county perspective at this point. Hopefully next meeting, I'll be able to talk more on what that specific plan is, as we're expecting to be receiving that. And then toward the end of December, first part of January, we're expected to have a presentation at the Board of Supervisors by the group that did the plan. So we can hear how that will integrate into our Plumas County general plan, infrastructure plan, specifically with the Dixie Fire burn scar, as well as looking at the whole county as a whole agency. So yeah, that's kind of the update we have on broadband for now. Any other questions on broadband? Great, thank you.
Exactly. Okay, we've got maybe time for one or two more quick questions for wrap up.
Interested in the Forest Service reforestation plan. When's that going to begin? What phases can we expect? How many trees? Where's it going to happen? When is it going to happen?
Still to be determined, but we want to get started next year. Reforestation, I mean, we've got a huge load in front of us here, so that's one of the things we're trying to put our heads together with Sierra Institute, because they're here local, they help. I mean, we've got some comments on the environmental or the proposed action too that help us prioritize. Funding could be an issue too, because there's not a ton available right out the gate as far as I can tell, but we're going to keep trying, keep finding sources. I don't have a lot of specifics, obviously, Julian. It's going to take a long time. I'll say that. I mean, it's reforestation. We got to get rid of the burn stuff first, and then do the planting. There's a bit of a shortage statewide, as you can imagine, just for seed and seedlings. So we're going to be competing with other areas for seedlings to plant. I don't know specifically where we'll start, but it'll be close to communities for sure. Does that help? Maybe we can chat a little more if you want afterwards.
I just have a couple of real quick ones. I was just curious what's going on with the post office. Is that coming up soon? And the tool trailer, were the two things I was concerned with. What's happening with the tool trailer?
I don't know specifically about the tool trailer. I know it's down on Hot Springs Road, and I think she is able to lend out of it when she's open down there. I believe maybe somebody else has different information on that. And the other question was what? Plumas Bank, yes. Post office, yes, sorry. They were working diligently over there. They were hoping, they were shooting for the middle of this month. If you look inside, they're not quite there yet, so they'll probably be pushing until probably the middle of December. Hopefully, that's kind of the plan that I've heard. But they did run into some shortages of materials and stuff like getting things like that. So also they too are kind of dependent upon good internet, stable internet. So hoping to hear more. Jim, go ahead. John, sorry.
Part of that coastal plan, when they open, is that including closing Crescent Mills and Taylorsville?
I have not heard that.
Okay. Thank you. I have. But.
Rumors.
Yeah.
You know how this place works.
All right, well, it's after 1 o'clock. I think maybe we should close up here. If you want to stick around and ask any other questions to anybody, feel free, come check out the stuff LMNOP has put together. And thank you all for coming out today.